Whether new shooter, longtime gun owner, or even police officer or soldier, your handgun needs a Crimson Trace laser sight or light. Get the confidence and reliability you need to protect family, home, and country. Crimson Trace.
This week on Gun Talk, hunting season is upon us, and we're talking new shotguns from Mossberg and hunter education classes. We'll also have an update on the Billboard campaign in New Jersey and more. Call now to be on the show at 1-866-TALK-GUN. And now, here's Tom.
Alrighty, it's Gun Talk. I'm Tom Gresham. We're going to be yakking about guns for quite a while. Guns and scopes and ammo. I just bought a new gun I got to tell you about. Finally broke down, got one. We'll tell you about that in just a little bit. Well, it's deer season. It's time to get a new gun. Of course it is. Hey, I can be the great enabler for myself, too, you know. If I can help you buy a gun, I can certainly help me buy a gun. That's no problem at all. And a lot of other things going on. We did get the billboards up in New Jersey. Got some information about that coming up for you today. We've got news out of California about, believe it or not, an incident in a school involving a firearm that I think you're really going to be interested in. We'll also have some information about hunter safety education, also new shotguns coming out. Let's see. Lots of cool things going on, and also some stories. Oh, how about, did you hear this one? Interpol, of course, that's the international crime. It's kind of like the FBI for the world, if you will. The head of Interpol says that law-abiding citizens everywhere should arm themselves because they will be a great deterrent to terrorism. The head of Interpol. Well, of course, now at the same time, I understand that this week, the U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder said that one of the greatest threats to America is Americans with guns. Interesting juxtaposition, don't you think? Well, on to this story about a principal who gets arrested for having a gun and then gets released. And rather than me tell you the story, let's bring in Daniel Rodriguez right now. He is the attorney for Kent Williams, the gentleman who was arrested. Daniel, thank you for joining us.
Sure, my pleasure. How are you doing?
I am good. Tell us, if you would, kind of what happened at the school. And we're talking about Kent Williams, right? He's the principal. Yeah,
he's the vice principal at a junior high school here in Bakersfield, California. And what happened was, this was back in August 28th. He goes to school like he usually does, and he gets there early, and he leaves late. And first thing he does is he goes to the front of the school, and he greets students, their parents. Hey, how you doing? Hey, put a smile on your face. You know, he's probably the most popular person as far as staff is concerned there at the school. So about 9 o'clock or so, the police officers show up, and he's worked with these people before. He says, hey, how you doing? Who are you here to see? You know, a student, I'll go get him, you know. And they say, well, we're actually here to see you. He says, really? What for? I mean, he's surprised. He says, well, do you have a gun? Because, yeah, I do. Well, let's go to your office. And he goes over there, and he says, hey, wait, you guys. I got a concealed weapons permit. You want to see it? So, well, yeah. He gives it to him, a concealed weapons permit. And under California law, there is a law that says, like in most states, that you cannot carry a gun onto school. However, if you keep on reading that law, it says very clearly, quote, this section does not apply to a person holding a valid license to carry the firearm, namely a concealed weapons permit. So he shows it to them. He says, okay. He says, by the way, I researched this before. You know, I just wanted to make sure everything was on the up and up.
Right.
And besides, campus supervisor, a retired police officer, he brings a gun, and he knows I have a gun. So the police officer scratched their head and said, well, so they call it up. They call, and they run it up the pole, and they come back and say, we're going to have to arrest you anyway. So eventually they wind up handcuffing him, put him in the back of a patrol car.
They arrest him at the school, handcuff him, and take him out of the school in handcuffs.
Right. Well, these officers, they were a little bit considerate, because Ken says, well, do you mind if you not handcuff me in front of all the students,
Yeah, okay.
And they said, yeah, sure, So they walk him out to the front of the school, and then they handcuff him and put him in the back of the car.
Okay.
So by that time, he's a type 1 diabetic, and as you might imagine, his system is out of control. So they take him to the hospital for an hour or so. Then they take him to the jail, and they book him. And the police department puts out a press release saying that they've arrested him, vice principal at this school.
Okay.
So eventually, I don't know how many times I ran it up the flagpole, and eventually I'll be talking to whoever made the call, the decision. But eventually they decided to release him. Somebody came to their senses and read the law that says that if you have a concealed weapons permit, you're okay.
So how long did this take for them to release him?
It took about 3 or 4 hours,
Okay.
And here's a man that's never been in jail, never, and he just sitting there and his heart's pounding, almost coming out of his chest. And
he was perfectly legal doing what he was doing.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so fast forward us to today. Where are we now with this?
Well, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this one out. The law says, the Constitution says, that you have a right to bear arms. And, we all know there's certain limitations, just like Second Amendment, the other part that says you can't scream fire in a crowded theater or theater for that matter.
Actually, you can. There's just a penalty. It doesn't prevent it. It just penalizes it.
You know what? You're absolutely right. I stand corrected. You're absolutely right.
Because I would hasten to add, because that example is often given. I said the only way that applies is if you actually gagged everybody who went into the theater. That would be the same as what they're doing with guns. So I apologize, but I had to jump in there on that one.
Tom, it's not the first time I made a mistake, and probably not the last time.
So what are we doing about this? How are we going to help? What are you doing for Mr. Williams?
Well, a couple of things. We can ignore it and say, well, the cops did what they did and so forth and so on. Or we can look at it and say, well, wait a minute. The cops are saying, the police are saying, well, we didn't know. I mean, that's going to be their defense. But guess what? The law says that ignorance of the law is not a defense. So they don't have probable cause. A police officer cannot have probable cause based on a mistake of law. So here, Mr. Williams is absolutely, positively within his right to carry a gun.
So are we suing?
We are. It's called accountability.
Sure.
We can, like I said, look, here's the bottom line. Accountability. Why do we discipline our children, for example? We do it with the hopes that if we discipline them, they'll learn from their mistakes and grow up to be good citizens. Police are no different. So anyway, they violated the Second Amendment.
Let me turn this around for just a second for you, just because I know they're going to say, well, look, we made a mistake. Yeah, we did arrest him, and yeah, we did put him in handcuffs, and we did take him to jail, and we did put out a press release, and we besmirched his name. But hey, you know what? We made a mistake. And I would come back and say, okay, well, here's the deal. If I grab a police officer and I handcuff him and I put him in the back of my car and I go lock him up in my house for 3 hours, but then I let him go because I made a mistake, are you guys going to forgive me for that?
Yeah, we call that the legal principle. We call that. Would you like to know what we call it?
Yes.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander. It's a very old legal principle.
I love it. Okay, so where are we with this lawsuit?
Well, we're going to be filing, like in most states, California says that you just can't go down to the courthouse and file a lawsuit against a public entity, such as a city police department. You got to file what's called a government claim. And then when you submit that government claim within 6 months of the date of incident, they have a right, the public entity, to accept or reject. They always reject them.
Of course.
And then we're allowed to file a lawsuit. So probably sometime this week we'll be filing that government claim.
So what has happened to him in the meantime? Did he lose his job over this?
Well, he's on paid administrative leave from the school district. So that's where we're at on that side of the case.
That's a separate issue, I gather.
It is.
Okay. So obviously they're going to claim, well, we didn't know, and then we made a mistake, and then eventually they're going to fall on qualified immunity.
Yeah, and it's not going to apply in this case because the law is pretty clear. Mistake of law does not provide probable cause. If you have no probable cause, it's a false arrest. It's a bad arrest. No qualified immunity for this type of conduct.
Okay. Well, will you keep us posted on the progress of this one? Because this one is most interesting. And look, there have been, and I'm sure you've heard of other cases where the police arrest people, say, for a gun charge, and then find out, oh, well, geez, actually, you were perfectly legal where you were obeying the law. Oops, so sorry. Here, go on your way. But in the meantime, we have arrested you, taken your gun, I can't believe they put out a press release. Let me ask you, why would they put out a press release? They don't usually do that every time they arrest somebody.
That's a good question. I'm still scratching my head over that one. Why on earth would they put out a press release? This wasn't the alleged crime of the century. So I can't figure out. If somebody can figure that one out, please let me know.
Here's the other question. Why did they go there in the first place? Who put them onto this?
As far as we know, they've been claiming, our information is that it was an anonymous tip. So we're going to try to get to the bottom of that, to find out whether, in fact, it was an anonymous tip.
Right, or what's going on here. Because to me, I put the two together. There are rarely coincidences. When you have an anonymous tip and a press release putting out, there is an agenda at play here. Yeah.
Well, we're going to dig into it and see what we can come up with.
All right, sounds good. Daniel, thank you so much. Please keep us posted on this, okay?
We will. Hey, thank you. Have a good day.
All right, you too. Daniel Rodriguez, he is the attorney for Kent Williams, the assistant principal. Arrested at school, taken away in handcuffs, and then some hours later the police department goes, oh, gee whiz, you know what? You were obeying the law, and everything is good, and we're so sorry. Fail. Doesn't work that way. 866-TALK-GUN, 866-TALK-GUN. Got a new gun? Got a range report for us? Give us a holler. I'm Tom Gresham, and this is Gun Talk.
Want your next gun purchase to be fast and hassle-free? Well, at GalleryofGuns.com, you can search through thousands of models from our huge firearms inventory. Find a great offer from a local dealer that includes all fees and taxes. And there's no need to arrange a transfer. Gallery of Guns takes a small deposit on your credit card, and your gun will be at your chosen dealer in as little as 48 hours. Plus, your gun will be covered by our guaranteed lifetime replacement warranty. GalleryofGuns.com. Search, find, buy. It really is just that easy.
The new Walther PPX offers a smooth trigger, ambidextrous magazine release, 3 integral safeties, rugged construction, and the famous Walther ergonomic grip. All this at a great price. Right now, get a free magazine, holster, and dual mag pouch when you purchase a PPX. Feel the perfect fit of the Walther PPX at your local gun dealer or go to WaltherArms.com for more information. That's WaltherArms.com.
Brownells proudly celebrates 75 years of history and heritage as the world's first choice for firearms, accessories, ammunition, and gunsmithing tools. So whether you're a gunsmith in need of parts and supplies, a new shooter looking for the perfect holster, or a skilled competitor seeking the latest gear, Brownells has what you need. And best of all, every purchase comes with the industry's only forever satisfaction guarantee. Visit us at Brownells.com.
Springfield Armory presents the Gear Up promotion. Until October 31st, customers who purchase any new Springfield Armory pistol can sign up to receive 3 additional magazines and a free double bag pouch by visiting gearup.springfield-armory.com. That's a value of up to $135. XDs, XDMs, the XDS, and all 1911s. To learn about all the Springfield Armory firearms, go to springfield-armory.com.
Crossbreed Holsters is broadening our product selection to serve more of your concealed carry needs. With products handmade in the USA, like the bedside backup, gun belts, and of course our world-famous Super Tuck and Mini Tuck holsters, we understand what works, and we take pride in providing you with a quality product. At Crossbreed Holsters, we live and breathe concealed carry. We make and sell products that we believe in and products that our customers love. To see more, go to crossbreedholsters.com. That's crossbreedholsters.com.
rights and how to apply them in these uncertain times. Keep it here on Gun Talk, and you'll be informed with accurate information and the facts. Now, Gun Talk continues.
All right, looking for your range reports, your comments, the guns you're buying, the ones you've taken out to the range. Actually, I've got a range report for you. Here's a company you may never have heard of. The company's called Saddleback Leather, and I got turned on to them, I guess a couple of years ago, from a pilot buddy. He said, you got to check out these bags these guys make. It is fantastic leather. Okay, cool. And I went and looked, and yeah, he was right. I got hooked. These guys make some really great leather products, Saddleback Leather. And so I became a customer. I bought a couple of briefcases I gave to people as gifts, and a couple of bags, and a tote bag for my wife. I mean, their phrase is, your kids will fight over it after you're dead. And they're right, the way they make them. And then I got this notice from them. They said, hey, we're going to make a couple of gun products. Oh, way cool. And they make this... It's not a holster. It's called a gun wrap. That's what they're calling it. And when you see it, you'll get it, what it is. But it's fold-over leather with a sheepskin cover, and it goes... their small one will handle a 1911, and the big one will handle a little bit bigger pistol. And so I got the small one, and the 1911 just slips in it really nice. But it's got the most gorgeous pieces of leather and buckle and straps, and I don't know, it's just cool. If you like really nice things and beautiful leather, it smells good, it's well made, it's good stitching and good, high quality buckles, all the best of the best. Check it out. It's Saddleback Leather. Saddlebackleather.com is the website. And I'm just going to apologize on the front end, because once you get there, it's going to ruin you, because you're going to go, that stuff is really sweet. Pretty neat stuff. So range reports out there. Oh, hey, by the way, Matt, we lost you, so if you're on the radio listening, give us a call back. I want to get that range report. Line 2, Rocco is with us out of New Jersey. Hey, Rocco.
Mr. Gresham, an honor to talk to you, sir. How are you?
Well, appreciate the call.
My pleasure. Okay, I've got 2 questions, but if you only have time for one, that's fine. I'm going to be partnering up with a couple of folks and opening up a gun range. And I was wondering if there are any classes out there for, managing general operations of a gun range or a gun club. Would you know that?
I tell you, the first place I would go would be to the National Shooting Sports Foundation. I don't know if you have contacted them or looked at their website yet.
No, not yet.
They are the trade association for gun stores, shooting ranges, manufacturers, all of that. And they have tons of information about operating a gun store, operating a shooting range, liability, what you need to build, environmental relationships, requirements, that type of deal. It's NSSF for National Shooting Sports Foundation, nssf.org. Also, I'm getting a note here, NRA's Chief Range Officer Program touches on that a bit. Michael is shooting me a note here on the screen, so that's good information. So that's where I would start with NSSF. All right, we'll go to the second question, as long as we're here.
Okay, the second question is about more of an industry question. And I was just wondering, we've got all these different materials out there for firearms. Obviously, Polymer really kind of reinvented the way firearms are made. Have you heard any word from any of these manufacturers about what the next generation for material is going to be that will reinvent the industry for firearms making?
Oh, what a good question. The short answer is no. I have not heard anybody talking about what's the next material. The problem is, of course, at this point, we may be at as far as we can currently go because what you'd be looking for would be something that is tough but also lightweight, because that's the primary things we're looking for in firearms. You can make gun parts out of titanium, but the cost is outrageous.
Right.
And the weight savings is not really that impressive over aluminum alloy or scandium in the case of Smith & Wesson using the scandium, or obviously polymers, which just get better and better all the time. What characteristics would you be looking for in a gun to take it beyond where we are now?
I'm an optimist, and I'm a little bit I'm kind of a little bit cheap, to be honest with you. So and that's why I like polymers so much. It's cheap. But something like you said, something that is rugged and can withstand the pressures, the pounding of all sorts of different usages. But yeah, I think price would probably be a good factor as well. But you know what?
Okay.
Just reliable. Just overall reliable.
Well, and we do have really good, reliable guns now. And interestingly enough, we've got some guns that are coming in at very attractive prices. I mean, well, just case in point, I'll go ahead and give you, I can't give you the range report quite yet because I don't have it, but I just ordered a Ruger American rifle. They just announced last week they're going to make them in left-handed. And I've shot the right-handed ones, and I like them a lot. So here we're talking about a bolt-action rifle that is stupid accurate. I've shot them out to 1,000 yards. I mean, it's a lightweight rifle. Good polymer stock, detachable box magazine, great trigger. MSRP, suggested retail price of $449 for this. And street price, I just checked Gun Broker. I'm seeing some of them advertised at $299, $300 for a really good bolt-action rifle. I ordered mine in 7mm08, so that's kind of my idea of a really good deer/hog cartridge. So, yeah, right, I got the upcharge for left-handed. No, actually, it's interesting you mentioned that. I checked, and it's exactly the same price, right, left-handed, because I was wondering, are we getting dinged on left-handed? No, not at all, the same price. But from Ruger's standpoint, now they're making their Model 77s that sell for $300 or $400 more, retail, MSRP anyway, and they're probably killing their own sales with this Ruger American rifle. Anyway, I should have that in this week, and once I get it out to the range, I'll give you a range report. Don't go anywhere. As soon as we get back, we're going to give you an update on the New Jersey billboards. We got them up, the free Shaneen Allen billboards, and the media is paying attention. The donations you have made, the dollars you have sent in, they're having an effect. True Squad report when we come back right here on Gun Talk.
Have you taken your family, friends, and kids shooting lately? You're listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, and we'll be right back. Want to be a guest on the show? Drop us a line at info@guntalk.com. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
Oh, by the way, did I tell you that I joined the Moms Demand Action Group? Yeah, I did, actually. Now I get all their emails. It's cool. And I've gotten all these emails to the meetings that they're having locally. You should do that. Just sign up. Then you get the emails, and you could get invited to go to the meetings, the local meetings, where they're going to be discussing their strategy. Would it not be fun to attend? Yeah, my mind's twisted that way just a little bit. All right. Well, you know, of course, if you've been listening for any length of time, the idea that we came up with for putting up billboards to help support Shaneen Allen, the mother from Pennsylvania who was arrested in New Jersey for having a concealed carry gun with her, facing years in prison. And so we asked for some donations, and boy, the Truth Squad came through. You guys and gals are terrific. I mean, the donations poured in, and we were hoping to get a billboard up. Well, joining us right now to give us an update on that is Frank Fiamingo from the New Jersey Second Amendment Society. Hey, Frank, how are you?
Hey, Tom, it's such a pleasure to be on with you again. How are you?
Well, I appreciate you had a big week. We got more than one billboard, didn't we?
We did indeed. You know, I got to thank your listeners and also the generosity of the people over at the Second Amendment Foundation, Alan Gottlieb and his crew. Between you and Alan and your listeners and supporters and the supporters and members of NJ2AS, we were actually able to put up 4 billboards, and they have gotten quite a bit of attention.
Well, what do they say? What are people saying about it? Because I've seen a couple of references to them in the news. Of course, I'm down here in Louisiana. You're on the scene. What are you getting as far as media buzz?
Well, we're getting a lot. I mean, all of the local affiliates of the national, like NBC, Philly, and CBS, they're picking up the story. They've seen them. They've called me and asked me what it's all about. I've given them the information about what's going on with poor Shanine. Now she's being persecuted. We're getting a lot of also attention in New Jersey. The different stations, Channel 9, Chasing New Jersey picked up the story, and NJTV picked up the story. So it's really getting a lot of traction, and it's just exactly what we need. I believe that a lot of people are calling in to New Jersey from out of state, which is really what we want. We want a lot of people calling Governor Christie's office and the Attorney General and the Atlantic County Prosecutor and letting them know, hey, this is a national issue. We can't come into New Jersey and feel safe. That's insane.
And just so that people understand what we're talking about, this woman had a concealed carry permit in Pennsylvania. She drove into New Jersey. And I've had people say, well, didn't they cover that in her class? Well, it turns out, I was not aware of this. In Pennsylvania, you don't actually have to take a class to get a carry permit. So she had not taken the class, so she didn't get this information. So when she was stopped by the police officer in a quote-unquote routine traffic stop, she just volunteered. She says, hey, just want to let you know I've got my permit and I've got my concealed carry gun here. One of those, we always say, and then say, how do you want to proceed kind of a thing. And
right.
Fast forward, and now she's facing 3 to 10 years in prison.
Which, under any circumstances doesn't make any sense. But let's talk about just the bigger picture. If you want to do business, we want people to do business with us in Jersey, right? Because it's good for our economy. Right. But if we want out-of-staters to do business with us and they're comfortable, carrying because they have a concealed carry permit from their own state, they can't even come into New Jersey without worrying about, whether they're going to get arrested or they have to be disarmed.
We're not talking about a fine here. We're talking about first offense mandatory. Was it 3.5 years mandatory on conviction?
The way that it works is because the Graves Act engages, it's 7 to 10 actually. Presumptive 7, minimum 5, 3 years without parole. So, if she's sentenced, she will be sentenced to 5 years.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Now, the prosecutor has kind of pulled back and said, look, let's put everything on hold right now while we reevaluate.
Yes.
So evidently, the pressure's on. It's what's going on. He's responding to the pressure.
I believe so. And if not, well, then he's a silly man. But there are a lot of people from here's the really beautiful thing about this story is we've got people from all walks of life, from both sides of the gun issue, who feel that Shanine is being persecuted.
Yes.
So even though, you don't have to be a gun owner to understand that that's just not fair.
Yeah, from the far left to the far right, all sides of the issue, everybody looks at this and says, this is simply wrong.
Yeah. But of course, the usual suspects are not showing up. We're not seeing the Al Sharptons or the Jesse Jacksons, those people. They're hiding in the...
And Shanine is a mother of 2, and we're not seeing the moms demand action come to her aid.
No. And it's very sad because this is, at least on this one issue, it's something where we can all come together and say, hey, look, no matter how you feel about gun ownership or carrying or whatever, this woman was not really breaking the law. She crossed the border into New Jersey where now it became against the law. It's very different.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm glad the billboards are up, and they're doing exactly what I had envisioned. My whole idea was put these things up and then let the media start asking, what's going on? What's this all about? We'll start the buzz, and when you can get them talking, you're halfway there. So I'm so glad it's working.
It was a great idea, Tom. I can't thank you enough for that idea.
Absolutely. Seriously. And I'll be seeing you next week in Chicago at the Gun Rights Policy Conference.
I'm very much looking forward to it. Yeah, that's a great conference. I hope everyone, within the sound of your voice who can make it will be there.
Absolutely. Well, look, we'll see you next week, Frank.
Thank you so much. See you then.
All right, take care. All right. John, don't go anywhere. Jim, Carl, we're going to get to you. We got the calls coming up. We still have room for you if you'd like to join us. 866-TALK-GUN, 866-TALK-GUN. This is Gun Talk. If you're looking for a safe and trusted way to sell your firearms, look no further than Dury's Gun Shop. I trusted them to sell my dad's collection. They built their business for over 50 years on honesty and customer service. Dury's Guns will buy any size collection or estate, none too big or too small. Selling your firearms to Dury's Guns is easy. Go with the pros. I trust Dury's Guns. Dury'sGuns.com.
If you carry a gun, you need training. Your concealed carry class was definitely not training. But time, money, and obligations keep you from spending days at a shooting school. The trusted folks at Gun Talk can help. Concealed Carry 1, our DVD featuring the VADA Group, covers what gun, what holster, how to carry, where to wear your gun, and much more. Visit shopguntalk.com. That's shopguntalk.com. Look, this really is life and death. Learn how to stay aware, how to get away, and how to fight if you must. At shopguntalk.com, you can get the 2 DVD set, including Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. No matter what gun you carry, this vital training info can save your life. Learn the draw, the stance, reloading, vital gear from Gun Talk. That's shopguntalk.com. shopguntalk.com.
In the field or on the range, you need a trigger you can trust. For over 60 years, Timney triggers have been trusted by hunters and shooters everywhere. A Timney trigger could mean the difference between a great shot and a miss. Timney triggers are proudly made in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. To order, go to timneytriggers.com. That's TIMNEY triggers.com.
Hi, I'm Michael Bain. You know I hate cleaning guns, so anything that makes that job faster and easier is definitely a plus. And that's where Board Tips come in. These reusable, lint-free cleaning swabs make cleaning a breeze. And the tighter-fitting Board Tips do a better job on barrels than cotton mops or patches. Hey, it's a dirty job. Let Board Tips help. To find a dealer, visit boardtips.com.
Smith & Wesson Bodyguards. Carry more comfortably, walk more confidently. When it comes to personal protection, nothing beats a Bodyguard. Choose the lightweight, compact, and concealable Bodyguard 380 pistol or the Bodyguard 38 revolver, both with a built-in laser sight. The Smith & Wesson Bodyguards. Carry more comfortably, walk more confidently.
Introducing your new best friend in home defense, Guard Dog from Federal Premium Ammunition. With low recoil and reliable feeding, Guard Dog is all the protection you need. Guard Dog features a patented full metal jacket construction with an expanding polymer which minimizes overpenetration through interior walls. This dog's got bark and bite. Protect your home and family with Guard Dog Home Defense from Federal Premium Ammunition.
Take Gun Talk with you wherever you go. Now streaming through Stitcher, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, and the Gun Talk app, available for your Android or iPhone. Just search Gun Talk in the App Store. Now back to Gun Talk.
All right, back with you. Don't forget, you can always shoot me an email, tom@guntalk.com. We had a caller. Didn't want to be on the air, but she said that the situation with Shaneen Allen in New Jersey is very reminiscent of the U.S. Marine who's being held in Mexico. He went into Mexico, had firearms with him, and I do not understand why our commander-in-chief has not done anything to get him out of there. Honestly, if Obama cared about this Marine, he would make one phone call and it would happen. Yes, one phone call. It'd be along the lines of, here's the deal. You guys have 24 hours or else. And we would get him back. I am absolutely positively convinced that our president doesn't like the military, doesn't like people in the military. He doesn't like the fact that we have to have a military. And he is caught in this very uncomfortable position of having run as an anti-war president, getting us out of wars. Of course, thinking the whole kumbaya, because I'm smarter than you guys, I can then negotiate with people and we'll all find some common ground. And now he's realizing that there are fanatics out there and people who would like to kill every American possible. And he's being forced into of course, taking action on a military basis. It's got to be driving him just a little bit nuts, don't you think? All right, line 3, John's with us out of West Leechburg. Howdy, John, how are you?
Oh, Tom, if I was any better, I'd be you. Thank you for taking me on.
You bet.
Hey, I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
A while back, I took my black bear with my own homemade cast bullet out of my 45-70. I sent you that picture earlier this spring.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's bear number 6 for me.
Great.
And hunting with a cast bullet, my own homemade cast bullets, has become a sickness, and I'd like bear number 7 to be a grizzly bear. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Is the Marlin 45-70 with a 405 grain cast bullets loaded to Marlin specs, okay, which is about 200 to 300 feet per second faster than a factory load. Am I undergunned on a grizzly? And if not, what kind of ranges should I be using? What should I stay under?
Okay. We have 2 or 3 questions here, and let me just touch on them briefly. First of all, a 45-70 using good cast bullets loaded up to whatever the max is for that particular firearm. For those who don't know, there are essentially 3 different levels that you can load a 45-70 to. There's the very low level that would be applicable to trapdoor Springfields. Then you move up to the Marlin lever actions, which is a good bit stronger load, heavier load. And then one more beyond that, you can load them for use in something like a Ruger number 1, very, very strong actions. But you wouldn't want to use those heavy loads in a Marlin, and you wouldn't want to use a Marlin load in a trapdoor Springfield. So obviously, John, you understand that, but I wanted to explain it. You're using good hard cast bullets, 400 grain bullet, 405, something like that?
405 grain RCBS, and I'm using Lyman number 2.
You're getting about, what, 1,900?
Around 1,800,
1,800 feet per second. Here's the deal. That is absolutely adequate for grizzly. If you're hunting with a guide, you may have to do a little explaining and convincing because they all want you to be using super-duper Magnum blasters. But you could do some explaining. And the thing is, it would just get you all the penetration you're looking for. But let's touch on range for a second. The issue of range is twofold on grizzlies. We're talking about dangerous game here. One is the amount of energy that your load is carrying when it hits, your bullet is carrying. But the other is one of accuracy. And you cannot afford to wound a grizzly because then you have to go follow it into the alders, the thick stuff, and that's ugly. You don't want to be doing that. That's why I would argue certainly that load would be good out to 100 yards without any problem. I would want to try to get into 35 yards, 40 yards, if at all possible. But at 100 yards, it would not bother me in the slightest. And I think you can drill through most of a grizzly with that rifle with good bullets that you've been using. I don't think it's going to be a problem at all.
Yeah, my black bear that I shot, the bullet it was walking away, and the bullet probably went through 15 inches of black bear in entrance wound and exited right out her chest plate.
Yeah, and just kept
and that
going.
was a 95-yard shot.
Exactly. It's going to be, it's perfectly adequate. It's fine. Grizzlies have been killed with less, but as far as hunting, I would think it'd be fine. You just have to find a guide that is okay with you using that. And that's just a case of you talking to the guy that you're going with. Well, look, appreciate the report. I'm glad that those loads are working for you on black bear, and absolutely. Would I hunt a grizzly with that? Absolutely, I would. Would I want something bigger if I could? Probably. But I wouldn't feel undergunned with a good 45-70 with good hard cast bullets. All right, Jim, Carl, coming up. We got room for you. 866-TALK-GUN. That'll get you in here. I'm Tom Gresham. This is Gun Talk.
You don't have to agree with Tom to participate in the show. Call now with any of your concerns about guns, gun rights, or particular firearms, or suggestions for your shooting activity or personal protection. 1-866-825-5486. Gun Talk is coming right back.
All right, welcome back. And I do have to welcome A brand new station for Gun Talk. All our affiliates out there. We got great universe, a constellation of affiliates across the country. The latest one, brand new, and this is super, right there in the heart of Chicago. We're talking about Barack Obama's hometown. We're talking about Rahm Emanuel. We've got WCGO, 1590 AM, 10,000 watts, big stick going into Chicago. We'll be there next week for the Gun Rights Policy Conference. If you are anywhere within driving distance of Chicago, I would encourage you to go to GRPC. It is a great event. On the Second Amendment website, saf.org, you can get all the information on GRPC. Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll have news on new shotguns from Mossberg. Tell you what, but right now, let's go straight to the phones. Jim is on line 1 out of Nebraska. Hey, Jim.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
I was calling about something you had said on your show about 3 weeks ago. You said there was a company building double rifles on shotguns.
Yes.
And I was wondering, are they over-under, side-by-side, and who it was?
They're side-by-sides, and it's Clark Custom Guns in just outside of Shreveport, Louisiana. And they're using CZ and I think some other brand. And they have a number of different calibers, 4570, 470, Nitro Express, some others. I think they start at about $5,000, which for double rifles is not crazy money. That's actually fairly affordable for double rifles. But on the internet, you can look them up. It's clarkcustomguns.com.
Yes, I've done business with them before. I have one of their 460 Rollins.
Oh, well, then you know the quality of their work.
Yeah, could I make a comment on something that one of your...
Sure.
He said he wanted a lighter gun as something in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Great for concealed carry, but if you're going to use and shoot that gun and familiarize yourself with it, I think they're getting too light as it is.
And therein lies our quandary, doesn't it? We want something that weighs nothing for carrying and something that weighs a good bit for shooting. Here's an option for you. Pick a gun that you can get a lightweight version and a heavier version. Maybe a 1911, get a lightweight and a heavier one. Maybe a gun like a Smith & Wesson M&P where you could get a 22 caliber version that you could shoot a lot of different ways to go. But I think you're right, you're onto something. The point being that lightweight is harder to shoot and uncomfortable to shoot at the range. Tell you what, that brings us right to our next caller, line 2. Carl's in Atlanta, Texas. Hey, Carl, talk to me.
Yes, sir. First of all, I was going to ask you, what in the world is scandium? And also, speaking of new guns, I think it's possible to make a handgun with no metal in it at all. I'll explain.
Okay, well, scandium is an element. It's on the periodic table, and there's, I think, there's not much of it ore or mined each year. I want to say it's like 40 tons or something like that, so maybe 400 tons. It's not a lot. But they mix it with aluminum and make an alloy out of it. At least Smith & Wesson does, and it makes the aluminum alloy much stronger. They say it's about as strong as steel. So you get the lightweight of aluminum alloy and the strength of steel. So they have 1911s made of scandium. I actually have one of those. I carry a good bit. I really like it. That 1911 they have, the scandium, is sweet, sweet gun. And they're doing it in their smaller revolvers, their carry guns. And, shoot, I've talked too much, and we are out of time. Carl, I apologize for that. A gun without any metal in it is possible. There have been attempts made at it, and I'm sure that there have been some made, maybe CIA-ish. But I don't know of any that are workable, that are available to us on the market right now. Doesn't mean you couldn't do one. Certainly you could do it if you didn't want to have to shoot it a whole lot afterwards. Coming up, some news on some new shotguns right here.
No black helicopters here, just the facts about gun rights and gun ownership. This is Gun Talk.